8 exciting bouts left for you, 4 amateur, 4 professional. So here we go. Time for our next bout of the eating. First up, please welcome to the cage, Wes Holtz.
No. And back to the action now, along with Chris Garrity and Gerald the Machine Mearshart. I am Rich Reynolds. We are cage side here at Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 15 as we continue on the amateur side of the card right now, as we will see Wes Holtz, who is going to be making his cage debut at 205 pounds. 6'1" is Holtz as we look at the tail of the tape. His opponent's going to be John Tombstone Jones as they are checking over Holtz right now. As he heads up to the cage, we will take a look now at John Jones.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, welcome his opponent, John Jones.
And here comes John Jones, and a lot of support here for Jones, now fighting out of the Chosen Few. The first time that he is fighting for Chosen Few. Jim and John Jones coming into this fight not off to the best amateur start, an 0-3 record. He's looking for his first win as he'll be taking on Wes Holtz, who is making his debut. There is the Carbon World Health tail of the tape. Let's see who's going to measure up in this one. It's Holtz and Jones as they come into the cage.
I think someone's tape measure was off because it said John Jones was 6'3".
Yeah, that's they do have him at 6'3", and yeah, I'm looking
Only
at
about
him right
5 inches off. I
yeah,
think.
that's
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is brought to you by Razor Sharp and is scheduled for 3 rounds in our amateur light heavyweight division. Introducing first, this man fighting out of the Coliseum bar, red corner. He stands in at 6'1" tall, weighing in at 204 pounds. He represents Red Schaefer Mixed Martial Arts and hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Please welcome Wes Holtz. His opponent is this man, fighting out of the Harley-Davidson of Madison, blue corner. He represents the Chosen Few Gym and hails from right here in Madison, Wisconsin. He stands in at 6 feet tall, weighing in at 206 pounds. Please welcome to the cage, John Tombstone Jones.
all right, here we go. The Capital City versus the Cream City, as you have John Tombstone Jones and Wes Holtz going at it. A couple of big boys coming in at 205 pounds. And yeah, I'm with you. They had Jones listed at 6'3". He's lucky to hit 5'10".
Let's talk about the guy being cursed with one of the worst names you can have in MMA to copy against the other John Jones, who's both probably the greatest fighter in the history of MMA and also the greatest jerk in the history of MMA.
Right now, John Jones, though, in this fight, showing a lot of ferocity. Came out, hit some good strikes, did a real nice job stuffing that stuff in the head of Holtz, and really keeping his head on the mat and working his way back up to a dominant position. Holtz kind of doing this weird, almost Philly shell-ish style guard, and not working out for him as John Jones gets an easy takedown, and now in half guard here, he's got to work to establish position, really settle his hips in, and again, create space so he can inflict some damage with some strikes on top.
Well, and talk about that a little bit. He was standing up so straight while yet being backed into the cage. How does that affect trying to be taken down?
Yeah, so that's the thing. He's really employing that, like I said, that Philly shell boxing style guard with that shoulder roll, which, is okay if someone's not trying to kick you or take you down, but you get stood up like that, it's an easy takedown as we saw. And now Jones settling in with his hips, using that little grapevine position to stay on top. Holtz, for what it's worth, really trying to bridge hard there a couple times, but Jones just seems to be too heavy and too well postured on top. And again, now he's got to break up, posture up, get that head high to the ceiling, create some space, and rain down with some strikes.
Great overhead camera shot right there by our team as you take a look at Jones on top of Holtz. Yeah, right there. It's kind of funny. You were talking about guys that could be a jerk. So many guys that we meet that are fighters are great guys outside of the cage. What you want them to be jerks is once they're inside of that cage and that door locks and they're fighting. Usually it works in that way. So, yeah, sometimes you meet them and, they don't lose the shtick. They take it with them outside of the cage.
I'm not served jerk in the cages. I mean, you don't want to be Husamar Palhares and you want to holding leg submissions and breaking people's legs and busting up their knees and stuff like that. But at least to have that cocky, aggressive type nature in the cage, absolutely.
For sure, as Jones continues to go to work on Holtz here. Final 30 seconds of round number 1, a round dominated by Tombstone Jones.
So pretty much it's just John Jones this whole first round. And one thing you see here that, you can kind of tell they're amateur fighters. He's in that half guard position. Holtz's guard was wide open. He's not working to pass, which you don't necessarily have to pass. I actually prefer being in half guard to ground and pound, but if you're going to do that, he's got to sit back, get his weight on top of Holtz's hips, and create space and not stretch himself out. So there we saw, a lot of top control from Jones, but not a lot of damage because he hasn't quite figured out whether he's going to pass for that submission or sit back and really commit to the ground and pound.
Good start by John Jones. Round number 2 coming up next here on 57 Sports. And quick peek at the action from round number 1 as we take a look at John Jones. There's Holtz throwing that hand out there, that right hand trying to guard, but that did not work at all as Jones lands a right and then takes Holtz down.
Yeah, Jones did a really good job just staying forward, stalking, hit that nice snap down to a front headlock, and then as we saw at the end there, it was just Jones pretty much on top either in mount with the grapevine in, lacing exert through Holtz's legs, or just, chilling out in half guard, just maintaining top position.
Here we go, round 2 now as the southpaw Holtz there, again, throwing that right hand out there kind of awkwardly, now brings it back as he protects the side of his face with that left hand there. He was trying to throw it a little bit earlier on, but Jones doing a good job just getting right underneath it and throwing a right that he lands.
One body, go!
So here we see Holtz trying to use that push kick, try to keep Jones away. Jones doing a really good job, though, staying inside, and because they're opposite stance, he's doing a good job using that right hand as his, first punch, which you don't always want to do. There we see Holtz run in, another easy takedown. But like I said, Jones was doing a good job on the feet, letting that right hand go down the middle, which is one of your primary weapons if you're fighting a southpaw.
Yeah, he said he ran into it. I mean, seriously, he couldn't have made that any easier for Jones to take him down as he walked right into the arms of Jones, who throws Holtz back down on the ground, and Jones once again is doing some work here in round number 2.
And again, the difference in amateur fighting here, what you see, and I know what Gerald would say, as far as a pro being in a half guard like this and having the established top control Jones has, is you want to throw elbows. You can't do that in amateur fighting. But what I like that Jones was doing is using that forearm in the beginning there and just smashing it right on the top of Holtz's face, Holtz's nose, Holtz's mouth, while still doing damage on the side. So then what that allowed him to do was then throw the few shots to the side and then also come up to the head with that, because Holtz was trying to defend both. Ow, my side hurts, ow, my face hurts, and it leaves openings for both.
And something definitely hurts on Holtz. I think it is the side of his nose, maybe. There's blood. Oh, it's right underneath the right eye. There is a cut on Holtz's face, and that is where the blood is coming from. So better to be under the eye than over the eye if you're Holtz right now.
Now, right here, you can see what Chris was just mentioning. Every time John Jones puts his arm behind the head of Holtz, he can't really separate and do any damage. But when he uses that frame and that forearm on the front of Holtz's face, he can create at least enough space to land some, nothing big, but at least land some strikes to the side and to the ribs and land some shots to the head and the ear of Holtz. That's either going to create a bigger opening to land harder punches, or at least force a scramble where John Jones might be able to secure a choke or a different submission.
30 seconds to go here in round number 2, and round number 2 looks almost exactly like round number 1. Basically a carbon copy here, as Jones in control for the entire round.
Yeah, and Jones is cruising. If I was in his corner, I wouldn't tell him to do anything different. Give him water, telling him he's doing a great job and to keep it up.
Right, pretty much all I'm doing from here. There's maybe a couple little things like we mentioned before, frame on the front of the face, make a little space, but what you're doing is working. If there's an opportunity that presents itself, take it. Otherwise, just keep doing what you're doing.
John Jones, 3 minutes away from his first victory as an amateur. We'll see if he can lock it down next on 57 Sports. Full house here at Monona Terrace, enjoying this one, and also enjoying it is one John Tombstone Jones. He has been in control from the outset, and this round number 2 looked exactly like round number 1.
Yeah, here we see Jones again, just on top, smothering those hips, controlling the biceps of Holtz, just riding it out, landing a little shot here and a little shot there, doing enough to not get stood up and create a little bit of damage, and really just, as Chris Garrity said, just cruising and stealing all these rounds.
What's surprising is I know Wes Holtz is going to have to win by a finish here in round number 3. He really hasn't shown anything that makes you think he has it in him to be able to stop Jones at this point.
He just looked at his corner and shook his head, like, already defeated. I don't know what to do with this guy. So I don't know what they told him in this 3rd round, but he doesn't believe it.
Again, he throws that paw out there right now. Yeah, kind of a quizzical look on the face of Holtz as he's trying to square up against Jones. Jones just looking patiently for that opening, and he doesn't have to rush anything here, well ahead on the scorecard.
Yeah, one thing Jones is doing really well on the feet, as I kind of mentioned before, he's staying forward, really in a good, forward position and posture with his stand-up. So what that allows him to do is not only stalk Holtz and remain in a position to not only defend strikes and strike himself, but now when Holtz inevitably rushes in, it gives him that easy takedown, whereas if he was a little more upright, it'd be kind of hard to transition into the wrestling and, this MMA setting. So that's one thing he's doing really well. As far as Holtz goes, if I'm in his corner, you need to finish. No reason to save the gas tank now. If you want to spin back fist, you want to jump, flying knee, whatever, flying reverse mounted go-go plata from half guard on top, or whatever move you can think of you want to try, forget it. Let it all out the window. Swing with everything you have the whole time and just see if you can get something going.
Well,
Absolutely.
to this point, Jones has given him the option to do it. I would have figured Jones would have stalked him down, put him up against a cage, took him down, anything, but he's basically just backing off. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but the thing is, you say it's inevitable that Holtz has to come in. I don't know if it is. I mean, he seems perfectly content to dance around the center of the cage right now. Jones doesn't have to do anything. He has the fight won. All he's got to do is wait on Holtz here.
Yeah, you can't sit back and think I have a fight won, because you never know when a left kick is going to come up to the side of your head.
Well, Holtz finally does make a move. Now lands a knee as he pushes Jones into the side of the cage as we enter the final minute of round number 3. The first 2 minutes, just forget about those. Hopefully you fast forwarded on your DVR, because there was nothing going on there. Now we'll see if Holtz is going to try and mount some kind of charge. He just doesn't seem to have anything in.
Yeah, right here, John Jones just content to be against the cage and not absorb too much damage. Now he's reversed it. Looks like he's going to land some knees of his own, maybe try for a takedown. It looks like he's searching for the double unders, lock up the body, and try and get another takedown here, but no real sense of urgency. He knows he's ahead, so he's content to just kind of coast his way to a victory here with about 20 seconds left.
Yeah, he's just pushing his body weight onto Holtz up against the cage, and this is one of the, I guess, more boring rounds I think we've ever seen here at Monona Terrace here in round number 3. Not much going on except for the fact that John Jones feels pretty solid about a victory. Finally a takedown, and the crowd gives him a Bronx cheer as John Jones should have won this fight. We'll see if the judges agree as we go to the cards here at Monona Terrace at Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 15 on 57 Sports. You know, I'd say that we're looking at action from round number 3, but that would be an overstatement, as there just wasn't a whole heck of a lot of it. Two guys dancing around, happy to get out of the cage without neither one getting knocked out.
Right, there we see, you know, maybe 2 or 3 literal second bursts out of Holtz, maybe trying to catch John Jones off guard, but you know, really can't fault Jones too much. He's 0-3. He really wants that win. He knows as long as he doesn't really slip up, maybe kept him from really opening up and dominating that last round. So, you know, personally, I would have went for the finish myself, but I get it. He was really eager to get that win. He didn't want to overexpose himself and possibly get caught. And then in a case like that, it's kind of on Holtz to, you know, really open up and try and get the finish and bring the best out of both guys. But you know, it's amateur fights. They'll live to fight another day, and they'll figure out what's going on. Now, John Jones getting escorted out of the cage. Maybe something possibly wrong here.
Wow, Jones is 2 guys helping him get out of the cage, and he looks completely limp as he is being escorted out. Not sure what has happened. You would kind of imagine, hey, he's been waiting to get that first amateur win. He would want to be in the cage to have his arm thrown up in the air, but no, he's taken out. That also means that Holtz is going to exit, and wow, I have not seen this before. And we'll try and get a word here from Chris Garrity, who's heading up to the cage right now, and get the official decision. Not sure what happened right there, but both fighters now are out of the cage, and it's only Chris and the referee in there right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, one of the fighters did have a medical emergency, and he did go back with the doctor. We will announce the winner. It does go to the judges' scorecards. Both Judge Zamatalo, Judge Zabeda score the bout 29-28, while Judge Struck has it 30-26. All in favor of your winner, and fighting out of the blue corner, John Tombstone Jones.
Hopefully Jones is all right. A medical emergency as he goes out of the cage. He does pick up his first amateur victory. All right, congratulations to Tombstone. We'll take a look at Pete Lowe. He's fighting next here on 57 Sports.